The final number for all the parts alone, that leaves you with a grand total of, drum roll please, can we get a drum roll? $46,309. You don't have to do that. You could just keep your bike stock, but never be remembered. What was that line from Troy?
I wouldn't want to fight him.
That's why no one will remember your name.
I wouldn't sell this bike. I wouldn't, or would I? I mean, what up? Welcome back to another video. Today we're gonna be talking about how much it will cost you to build a bike like my Lowrider ST right here. We're gonna go over all the parts and accessory that the bike has. We're gonna factor in labor and a bunch of other things all compiled together. In this little book, I have everything written down. So I sat down and I did all the hard work for you guys and I added everything up. I also crossed some T's and dotted some I's. Now the reason we are doing this video is because obviously a lot of my content revolves around my Lowrider ST, my previous builds. I could just see some of you right now. Build. You're not a real builder. This bike and all my previous bikes that I have helped to put together, some really cool ideas. And a lot of you guys are always curious to know and asking questions of how much would this cost? Like, how much is this build? If I'm in the market right now and I either have this bike or a similar bike and you want to build it out close to what my build looks like here, it's gonna cost you a pretty penny. Shall we start? Can we get that register noise to sound off real quick? It's a pretty long list. I guess we'll start with the suspension. This bike here has Nitron front and rear suspension. If you're not familiar with the Nitron, I've talked about it a few times, but Nitron is basically equivalent to what Öhlins is. Nitron is the same suspension that Big Bear is utilizing in all his setups right now. So top-notch stuff, really cool items coming straight out from the UK, breaking into the V-twin market at the moment. I have zero complaints about it and it's very, very easy to adjust and dial on the go. Anyways, if you are looking to do Nitron suspension for the front and then also your rear monoshock all together, that's gonna run you $1,940. Next, we're gonna go to one of my favorite things on this bike, which is the Krause setup. Probably one of the cleanest setups out there on the market. It looks phenomenal, it feels great, and it's just high. The quality of it, you could just feel it, it's really good. This setup here in particular is gonna run you $1,485. That's not including cables. It's just the riser setup and the bar and an extra $139 for the clamp, but you're gonna have the gauge pod and everything else. Next big item, if not probably the biggest item on the list, which is the 131 kit for the bike. Now this is the kit. This is not the whole engine, which will probably run you maybe $6,000–7,000. So for those of you guys that have a 114 or a 117, you can convert that into a 131 with the cylinders and at the top end of the motor. That's gonna run you $3,799. And the kit brings anything and everything that you're gonna need for that setup. Next cool item on the list is the SP Concept Big Bore exhaust. I love this exhaust. Sounds great. Makes great numbers. It looks really cool. SP Concept makes some great stuff. That's gonna run you $1,199. Next up, we have my custom lapel seat. If you're gonna wanna do anything near to what this looks like with different patterns, different materials, stitching, all that stuff, it's gonna run you, I averaged it around $1,000. It could be $1,200, $1,300, $1,400 for a custom build like this, depending on what you're gonna want on the bike. But I have a lot of embroidery on there, a lot of stitching. I just put $1,000, but it might be $1,200 or $1,300 at that. It's a very pricey seat. They use high quality stuff. It's great. The seat has been and gone through a lot of storms, and it looks brand new. It feels great, and it's breaks in pretty easy and quick as well. Next up, we have a small little addition towards the front. We have the Clockworks windshield. That's gonna run you $249. Next thing, one of my favorite things on the bike are the carbon parts. So I broke it up individual. So the rear carbon fender is gonna run you $700. The front fender is gonna run you $500. The dash, the tank dash, is gonna run you $400. And the two side covers, which at the moment only have one because the other side, I don't know how flew off or I don't know what happened to it. That's gonna run you for the pair $650. Depending on where you get your carbon parts, prices may vary. These parts are from Black Widow Creations. Huge shout out to Black Widow Creations. They did an amazing job on the camel print that I had on my Road Glide before, and that thing looked amazing. Now let's go to the Baja setup in the front that I have. The whole setup is on my A10 Moto. That comes with the LP6, the harness, and then the bracket. That's gonna run you $809. For the S1s, the turn signals, that's gonna run you $649. Super bright, highly recommend these lights. They look awesome. They brighten up everything ahead of you and you can literally see anything and everything at nighttime. The Santoro crash bar in the front, that's gonna run you $400. Without the spinner wheels, it might be like $350. The Cyclorama 483 cam, one of my favorite things on this bike because it sounds amazing. It makes great power, and that cam with this 131 setup right now, I'm loving it, man. The bike feels like a beast, super fast, a lot of torque, a lot of power. That cam is gonna run you $369. Now, I also went ahead and I got a Power Vision tuner on here. That tuner averages around $649 or so. That's just the tuner. After that, you're gonna have to get it tuned. I left all the labor stuff towards the end, so we'll talk about that. Grips from Arleness, $71. Cross threads mini floorboards, love those things. Those are $174. The Moons MC rear light, that's gonna run you $494, and that's with the light, the wiring harness, and then a few little components you gotta buy to put it all together. But all together is gonna run you $494. I got a manifold from Revolution Performance. That's $249. The PSR shorty levers are $285. Love those levers, they look great. The fueling air cleaner, that's gonna be $600. Yeah, for an air cleaner, but looks super cool. I need to clean this one up because it's a little dirty, but super cool stuff. And then the Harley Davidson stereo for this bike is gonna run you $1,200. Now, I didn't add tax into this, all right? This is just what the parts are. So you're gonna add a lot more money for tax. So this is all without tax. Now let's talk about labor real quick because I kind of did labor separate, and I did like a little rough low estimate because depending on the type of shop you're gonna go to get all this done, it may vary a lot. If you're gonna take it to Harley Davidson, it's gonna cost you a lot more. But most of the time, the local shops, they charge a little less for labor. So I just averaged it, and this is a low. This is very, very low. I averaged around $3,000 in just labor. So the final number for the parts, all the parts all together, is, you ready? Are you ready? Not for real, you ready? The final number for all the parts alone is $18,010. Combined together with the labor, which is $3,000, that brings the grand total to $21,000. 21,010 to be exact. Like I said, the labor, that's like, I did more of the low end, around $130 per hour or so, depending on where you're getting, and some of the hours I kind of didn't account for. So the labor could be maybe $1,000 more than this, maybe $2,000 more than this, depending on where you go. Now let's factor in the bike. The bike with this color, because this special color, they charge you, I think it was $1,990, so basically $2,000 paint job on top of the MSRP. So the bike was $299. Now, add all the parts into that and labor, which was the $21,010. That leaves you with a grand total of, drum roll please. Can we get a drum roll? You ready for this? $46,309. Yeah, you heard that right. That's a whole lot of money. So that's what you're kind of looking at to get this bike, have a similar build to this, looking and performing the way it does. Now you could go a cheaper route, right? You don't have to get a special paint job. You could just get Vivid Black, right? You don't have to get all these parts. You could do similar parts that may be cheaper. With this bike, I wanted basically the best of the best out there. And we're not even done yet, because we still got to do brakes for the bike. And then I also wanted to add a swing arm to it. So you're talking about another $3,000 or $4,000 into that. So it's pricey, man. It's very pricey to get these bikes to look like what this looks like right now. You don't have to do that. You could just keep your bike stock, but you'll never be remembered. What was that line from Troy?
I wouldn't want to fight him.
That's why no one will remember your name.
I love doing this. I love bringing different parts, different ideas, and combine them all together. Each and every of my bikes have been little passion projects for me. What I did with the Road Glide, I was super happy with, and even though I wasn't done with that bike, I was nowhere near done with the Road Glide where I wanted to take it. But I was happy with the outcome of the bike when I sold it. What I did with the white Dyna that I had, nowhere near done with that bike either, but the bike looked phenomenal. What I did with the Lowrider S, once again, nowhere near done with that project, but the bike looked very clean, subtle, but very cool at that. This probably is my biggest project, because even with the FXR, we really didn't do much with that either. It got built from the ground up with all the parts that I wanted. That was a bit different. And then the Iron 883 was like little stuff, like lights and grips, or it was stupid little stuff. It wasn't like, nothing compared to what we're doing now. So this by far is probably my biggest project. I've had a blast. In March, we're gonna have 2 years with the bike. And I've always said it, I got this bike, I wouldn't sell this bike. I wouldn't, or would I? I mean, for $46,000, if I was to sell this bike, I'm not gonna sell it for $46,000. There's just no way I would get that. But the price tag will have to be high. Now, I said that I would never sell this bike, but let's just say I wouldn't turn down a really strong offer, a really high, strong offer. I wouldn't turn it down, but it will have to be an offer that will wow me, right? Because I also kind of want to start a new project in a way, and I wish I could keep the bike, but in order for me to start a new project, I would need some funds for the new project, in order to get the ball rolling. New bike, parts, and all that stuff. But I love this bike. I love it. Don't want to sell it, no. But I've been flirting with the idea lately after someone, I was having a conversation with somebody and they just like threw this crazy number at me. And I was like, what if I sell it for around that number? But it's just a thought right now. I think I'm gonna make another video and we're gonna dig deeper into if I was to sell this bike or if I'm gonna sell it. So that might be it is gonna be the next video, so tune in for that. Might be up in a few days. Yeah, man, what do you guys think about the project so far? Do you like where everything has gone, or do you not? Is there any of these parts that you don't care for that you wouldn't go with? You wouldn't add it on yours? Or what else would you add to this bike? If you had it as is right now, what else would you have? Is it perfect the way it is? Will you keep adding more? Will you take some stuff off? Who knows? Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. This for me was pretty fun today. Fun and no, because then I'm like, yo, bro, like really? That's a high. Like, I always hate to kind of sit down and be like, people always ask me, oh, how much is this, how much is that, and how much would it cost? And I'm like, bro, I don't even want to know the number. I don't want to know the number. And now, like, that's kind of like how I'm feeling now. I'm like, after I know the number, I'm like, fuck, it's a big number. But I love this shit, man. I have a huge passion for this right here, this, everything we're doing, like, and I want to keep going. I want to keep giving you guys new projects and just this. I love this. Anyways, like always, let the force be with you. Ride safe and enjoy the ride, baby. By the way, if you're a Yankee fan, September's here and we got some amazing games coming up, and the postseason will belong to the Yankees. Bye.